You know, work burnout, it is a real thing, and it's happening in every industry across the country. With the economy the way it is, people are not necessarily quitting anymore, but they are doing something else. It's called quiet quitting. Communications expert Odell Bizzell explains what it is and why it's catching on.
Most people, and there are people that love their jobs, that love their work, but most people, they're there to get a check.
Communications expert Odell Bizzell says while most unhappy workers would simply quit, there's a new trend where they stay on the job to get a check, but they are literally checked out.
People are at a point where they're just overwhelmed and they just do whatever they need to get by, but they don't do any extra.
Quiet quitting is a conscious decision to put in less effort at work. Bizzell compares it to a bad breakup.
Communicating to the employer that either I'm not appreciated enough here to do more, or I'm not fulfilled enough here, but I'm not going to just quit, but you can fire me.
Workers keep their job and the income without sacrificing their peace of mind.
What are the signs?
If normally Susie is coming in, she's like, "Hi, everybody, how are you?" But the last few weeks, you've noticed she's just like, "Hey."
People also start just to verbally say, I hate it here.
I hate it here. Yeah, that, or, oh boy, here we go again. Another pointless meeting.
3 top tips for bosses and employers. Start with checking in.
I don't want anything. Are you good? And then going a question or two deeper than just, is everything fine?
Ask these questions.
Is there anything I can do to help ease your load? Is there anything I can do to help you be more efficient?
Schedule more intentional work breaks and engage your staff.
This really is going to cause managers and employers to pay more attention to their employees and their mental health and their energy.
So for the worker who is trying to figure out whether to stay or go, make sure you take the economy into account. Take a deep dive into your savings to see if you can afford being out of work before you quit, or take the risk of quiet quitting and your boss finding out. So Bizzell gave me so many great tips, but one that sticks out, he says workers are really starting to value their mental well-being lately. So they want happiness over the paycheck more and more. And a study from Bloomberg proves that. Bloomberg says more than half the people currently working at a job are quietly quitting or doing less so that they feel more fulfilled at home.
I think we are very much, I've said this time and time again, I really think after we emerged out of the height of COVID, I really think more and more that we are a society of convenience. You know, we want it to be convenient for us, and we want our time, and you know what I'm saying? We want all those things, and I think that you've seen a lot of that in terms of maybe workplaces going to more of a hybrid workflow, and I think you'll see more of that in time as we emerge out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Especially as people picked up those side hustles during the pandemic that are now their full-on careers or have become what initially started as supplemental income, now maybe a primary source. But a lot to consider with that, especially with regard to healthcare. A lot of employers have healthcare programs that you're not necessarily going to get if you go out on your own. So also something to think about, you know, before you do it.
Yeah.
Lots to consider. And on the other side of this, there's also a new trend called quiet firing. So I'll talk about that next week.
All right.
Yeah, it's not just
Interesting.
I know. We don't want to do that either.
It goes both ways.
It does.
You're fired, but don't tell anybody.